I'm going to pay my rent in a couple weeks, and that's terrifying, but I'm trying not to be too overwhelmed about it because all I've known for the last year is stress. Employed people don't seem to understand that nowadays you have to know somebody to find a job. And since I was laid off after I moved halfway across the country to a city where I don't know anyone, it's almost impossible to even find a serving job. And if I'm evicted, I can't just go move in with a friend because they're all over 17 hours away. I have a car camping set up, so in theory I could stay in my car, but I recently found out that my 3-year-old car is no longer waterproof. I've applied to well over 100 jobs, and the only thing I get besides rejections are more spam calls, texts, and emails. I paid to be licensed as a substitute teacher, and out of the 12 schools I applied to, I only heard back from one, and it was a rejection. Instacart is full. TaskRabbit is full. Amazon Flex is full. I tried doing Uber Eats, but the only orders I would get would be to drive 45 minutes for $3, and then I still have to drive 45 minutes back, and then it's not even worth all of the gas that you just used. I've had more success making money off of TikTok, but even then it's not enough, and it's hard to be motivated to make videos when you can't afford to eat enough for your brain to function properly. And to film my quilting videos, I have to stand up because I don't own a desk chair, so every time that I try, I don't have enough energy to stand up. My life hasn't been worth living for quite some time. I miss feeling like I have a purpose. I miss being able to participate in life. I miss being able to do the things I once enjoyed. I miss being able to see my friends and my family. It would be so easy to say that I can't take the everyday stress and hunger and give up. And it feels impossible to keep believing in myself and believing that things are going to get better.
Do you know I've been looking for a job for 2 years? For 2 years. I finally got an interview after a ridiculous number of applications. And I found out today that they put the job on hold for budgetary reasons. Meanwhile, I'm broke and rent is due. Like, I've got nothing. I applied for assistance from the state, and I have to show that being bipolar will hinder me from working to get $292 a month. Yeah. I'm self-employed, and I'm making no money. No one is buying any of my merchandise on my Patreon shop. No one attends my lectures. And I'm shadow banned on TikTok. So, and the House just passed the most atrocious spending bill seen probably since Reaganomics. I'm just venting because I know it's tough all the way around. But I've done everything I'm supposed to do. Everything they tell you to do when you're an adult, I've done it. And I can't seem to make any headway. So I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to do. I don't know what else to do because I keep ending up here. They tell you to work. I'm trying to find work. And when I can't find work, I make work for myself that brings in nothing. What do you do in these situations? Tell me. What? I've done everything I'm supposed to do, and nothing is working. I always end up here.
The job market is trash, and I'll tell you why. Because I had a final round interview for an entry-level job last week. Entry level, mind you, I am 32 years old. My last role, title I had was senior operations analyst. This role I applied for was an operations coordinator. So literally at bottom of the totem pole, a girl who did my peer interview, low-key, I think she was 23, 24 years old. So that's the kind of jobs I'm applying to now, because I keep getting feedback that I don't have enough experience. So what I do, I applied to the lowest level out there, make it all the way to the final round, thought it was a really good fit. I am more than qualified for this job. I'd be such a great addition to this team. What do I get? Rejected. Don't worry though, I did not get my hopes up last time, so I am just whatever. But I would appreciate some feedback or clarification why I got rejected. I made it all the way to the final round, and no, I just get a blanketed email from the recruiter. I respond asking for feedback. Do I get a response? No. It's now been 3 days, no response. Now they're ghosting me, and I'm just
Today marks 1 month of me being furloughed from my dream job, and a lot of people have been asking me how the job search has been and what I'm doing these days, and I wanted to come on here with full transparency and let you guys know that I am truly having the most difficult time right now with job search. And I know I'm not the only one who's struggling with this right now, because I posted a video a while back about how I was rejected from a job that I applied and 10 minutes later got a rejection email, and you guys are having the same experience as me. And I know I'm not alone in this, but I had the worst mental breakdown this morning because I just felt truly and utterly defeated with the job market and job search overall. A little bit about me: I work in government, and more specifically international development, and that field completely has vanished because of the new administration. Fuck you guys. So yeah, shit has been hard. I can't find any government related jobs that I would be fit for, and on top of that, all of my government friends who have been laid off, all of my international development peers that have been laid off, they cannot find jobs. And even if we were to find a government related job, that job most definitely will have 500, 1,000 plus applicants gunning for it, because everyone's laid off. Everyone's trying to find a job in government. What I've been doing more recently is that I've been looking for careers that are completely outside of government and international development. That shit has been so hard. It's so hard to even think about. I spent 4 years studying and becoming an expert in my field, only for me to end up not being able to practice what I'm passionate in. And that shit sucks and fucks with your mentality so hard. Worst part of it all is that I don't really have anyone I can lean to when it comes to connections within government or all of these things, because all of my connections are all jobless. They all are not able to find jobs. I am stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, and it truly is just so detrimental to my mental health in general. And I spent this morning literally sobbing my eyes out about how I spent 4 years of my life studying and graduating with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And you guys don't know this, but I actually graduated with both my undergrad and master's in 4 years. I did not take any breaks during the summer. I took classes straight up until I graduated with my master's degree. Within those summer breaks, I was taking classes, I had internships lined up, I had everything lined up for my career and had the experiences and have the connections. For that to just come crumbling down, and for me to not be able to find a job even with those experiences and the skills that I've gained, sucks. It sucks so bad. I just had to rant about everything that's been happening right now, because I feel like I'm not the only one who is struggling to find a job right now. The whole country is suffering. I can see that, I can sense that. And if you guys are in the same situation as me, you are not alone. I know we can get through this together. It's a tough period right now, but nonetheless, do not give up. No matter how hard it is these days, something will come up, something will pop up. That's something that I'm telling myself every single day, even though it gets really hard to think that it's true. But yeah, that's all.
I am truly shocked just how brainwashed the corporate America has a lot of us. And I'm not saying that to offend the regular folks. I'm saying that as I was unemployed recently. Just a couple months ago, I've been employed for the last 3 months, but prior to that, I was unemployed for 3 months. I got laid off from my previous company. And what's so interesting to me, I spent like every week applying to at least 30 to 40 jobs weekly for those 3 months I was unemployed. Every single day I applied to jobs like it was a full-time job. Every hour I would apply for a couple of jobs. Every hour, every single hour I would apply for a couple of jobs. Now, mind you, I am employed. It's none of the jobs I applied for. I was recruited. But what's so interesting to me is the entire time I was waking up every single morning and applying for jobs while I'm sitting out eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee is that I felt guilty the entire time. I just like, I'm flabbergasted at the reality of that. I saw somebody on TikTok talking about it earlier, that there's a profound sense of shame as well as guilt, but specifically the guilt of feeling like you did something wrong, right? You are looking for jobs. And the only time you feel like not guilty is on the weekend. You're not employed the entire time, but the only time you feel non-guilt is because it's the weekend and everybody's off on the weekend, so you don't feel bad for not having a job. But it's like crazy to me because simultaneously we also have the conversation going on right now that nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work, yet we're feeling guilty that we don't have a job. That's nonsensical to me. Because first of all, most people want to work. Companies don't want to hire, and they also don't want to pay. But even for the companies that don't want to pay, people are still applying for those jobs. Myself, I was applying for jobs that were completely out of my pay range that I'm used to. But I was just looking for a job. I don't care. I've always worked from home. I've worked from home since 2018, but I was applying for jobs in office. It didn't matter. I was applying for jobs in my field that I know I have extensive history in working. Like, every single bulletin point I was meeting, or at least majority of it I was meeting, and still I was having issues. And what's cracking me up again is that there's this notion that nobody wants to work, they're lazy, they don't want to put in effort, and yet companies are consistently not hiring, but they have these jobs up. And that was the thing. Even now I go back and look at some of those jobs I applied for, they're still there. They're still there. It wasn't even like the positions got filled, and I'm still getting rejected to jobs I applied for 6 months ago. Because mind you, I've been employed for the last 90 days, for the last 3 months, and I was applying for those jobs since September, October. They're still there, and I met majority, if not all, the requirements. And this is not to toot my own horn, this is to prove a point. I had 4 different resumes just to switch it around and do different things. I had 2 created by AI and 2 I did myself. And I still did not get any of those jobs. I didn't have anybody reach out to me. I got a job via recruiter, but it was crazy how many job sites I went on, how many times a day I was actively looking for a job and was not able to find one. And yet I'm constantly hearing nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work hard. Americans don't want to work. And yet I'm seeing constantly on TikTok people getting on here saying I've been unemployed for 8 months. I've been unemployed for 6 months. People are taking barista jobs and waitressing jobs. And that's not to say those jobs are demeaning. And a lot of times those jobs pay more than corporate jobs. But the point is that people are applying for whatever is available, and they're still being told they're not trying. They're still being told they're not working hard. And that's why I have a lot of room and a lot of grace, not only for myself, but for other people. Because I'm like, babes, we're all going through the trenches right now, and we're all making an effort, and we're being hardcore gaslit by the people around us while they're simultaneously taking away aid that would help us while they're not hiring us and not paying us. I am flabbergasted at how well they were able to sufficiently brainwash us, especially millennials, and how sucky it is going to be for Gen Z, because they're looking for jobs out of college, and we're looking for jobs during this time, and none of us are finding jobs, even though the jobs are listed and we're applying. And we have 4 resumes and 5 resumes and all this expert advice and all this career advice and career shift. I don't care how much you shift your career. That's why everybody's trying to be a influencer, and I don't blame them. No matter how annoying it is to hear people talk about content creation, which it is becoming very annoying on this app, and no matter how much annoying it is to see people become influencers, what are they supposed to do to keep their lights on? Yes, unfortunately, they're going to have to sell on TikTok Shop. Of course, they're going to be a pain in your ass, because corporations are a pain in everybody else's ass who are qualified to work and are unable to. And then for the people who make buku bucks, make a lot of money, of course they're going to keep doing this, because the corporate job has been so uncertain that running your own business seems more sensible now. Not even if you don't want to do it, because I know entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but what is one to do when you're qualified for jobs and they're either not paying you or simply not hiring?
I just got fired. And you know what? And today, I have no car for the next 6 months. Why? Because I was roofied. So yeah, my whole life flipped upside down. Once again this year. And now I have to completely start over. Once again this year. You know, I've been really trying to keep it together, but It's getting hard. What else? But I'm choosing not to give up. I'm turning this into something. I started my own social media management business so I can work without having to Uber everywhere, because I don't know if you know, but I'm unemployed, and that means I have no money. So TikTok, do your thing. Okay, but really, please follow me here, support me on my YouTube, or share this. I'm betting on myself and putting myself out there once again because I actually have no choice. And somehow, we're all gonna get through it. I don't know how, but somehow.
At this point, I think I'm just gonna sell feet pics online for money because the job market right now is shit! I'm currently looking for a job and I don't have that much experience, so I'm just looking for an entry-level position, okay? Nothing too crazy. I'm like looking at these entry-level positions. Let me know why one of them said 8 fucking years of experience. 8 years? You see, I'm no mathematician, but I graduated from college 2 years ago, and the last time I checked, college was 4 years? So 4 plus 2 is 6, right? So the extra 2 years would have meant that I would have been in high school. 8 years of industrial experience, girl, I was still busy learning what the nucleus of a cell was. Like, you mean 8 years of industrial experience? No. Wait, but hold on, there's more. The tomfoolery doesn't end here. Nope. All of a sudden, all companies want to release ghost jobs where they just leave the position, but they never intend to fill it. So it's basically just rotting up there on the job board for like 6-7 months, and people are applying, getting their hopes up, and trying to get a new job, but clearly that job isn't meant to be filled. So like, why is it still there? You're wasting my time! I want a job and I want it now! I'm literally gonna pull a Katie Fang and start crying because of work. But the difference between me and her is that she actually has a job. Meanwhile, I don't. Oh my god. Wait, that makes it worse. Wait. Oh my god.
Another rejection email. And this time it was for a company I actually had an interview with last week. And I think I had 2 interviews. So with the second interview, it seemed like, both interviews actually, it seemed like it went really, really well. And waking up to that email was not in my bingo cards for this week, because I was really hopeful, that finally a break, But I'm sad, right? But I don't know how to describe it. I think I'm at the point where I'm just really trying not to let being unemployed define who I am, because essentially it's just a season or something that I'm gonna get past, right? It's just really difficult just sitting around and not really having work and just thinking about what next? What do I need to do? So yeah, I'm really trying not to let these things define me, because they don't, and I don't want it to be my entire personality, or I don't want to make work or not having work my entire personality, because there's obviously more to life than that. But yeah, wow, I was not expecting that. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good week. I will try have a good week as well. It's just, I need some time I literally just read the email, so I need some time to process.
About a year ago, I posted a video saying, I don't know if I'm ever going to find a job again because I had been looking for so long and no one had given me anything. This is what has happened since I posted that video. 2 months after I posted that video, I got a job offer. 20 hours a week, $16 an hour. 5 months after I started that job, the entire company shut down. 2 months after that company shuts down, I get another job. I'm a dog walker. The most they can give me is about $300 of work per week. So I get another job. I am a petition circulator. I work 40 hours a week, $19 an hour. I'm great at it. This is amazing. I'm finally making a decent amount of money, and the Florida government passes a law that all but bans petition circulating. So now I am back to dog walking, which again pays about $300 a week. I have a bachelor's degree. I have 4 years of experience in mental health, 10 years of experience in childcare. I have experience in higher education, aquatics, food service. When I was in high school, I tutored refugees in English, and I speak French. And I do not believe that there is any job that I am above. I'm telling you, I got rejected by Taco Bell and Sam's Club. Where are my bootstraps? Because I would love to pull myself up by them.
This is why they say anything can happen. I just lost my job. But I just lost my job over people who lied on my name, were jealous. Grown women, by the way, grown women. And this isn't just me thinking that people are jealous of me. I mean as in actual evidence that they have said to other people. I've never gone to a job anywhere. I've never gone anywhere in my life and people dislike me. I've never gone somewhere and they've disliked me for no reason. This new job I started, I've had these managers, so-called managers, who act like the jealous, horrible, nasty, like, people from school when you were in secondary school. And so just like that, I'm gone. And it's all a bunch of lies. I genuinely looked at that piece of paper and I said, I don't want to sign that because that's not true. If you hear why they've let me go, because I'm still in probation, I know they can let you go for anything in probation, but the reasons that they've come out with is insane to me. Like, as in reasons to be let go for coming back off break 1 minute late. 1 minute late, and I wasn't even late. Like, she said, it's her word against mine. And I was with my friend. My friend isn't getting fired. We weren't 1 minute late. I look at my Apple Watch. This job economy that we're at right now, it's so hard to find a job. It was so difficult. It was so difficult to find this one already. And here we are again. Round 2. I just feel like in my life, I made a video about this where I just feel like I can't catch a break. I just feel like it's always me. I feel like things bad always happen to me. I can never have something go straight forward. I can never have it just easy plain sailing. There's always some sort of curveball in the way, and it's not fair. Whoever's writing the script, I just want a break. And this is me in editing. So all the people that say coming on the internet to cry, yeah, I'm still crying. I've just tried to cut out the bits where I'm, sobbing. I always hated people that would come on the internet and cry because I'd think, well, you're sitting there editing, watching yourself cry. But honestly, I'm sat here editing right now and I'm still crying. So, there's that.